Balaji, and welcome to another professional prep video. In today's video, we'll be talking about array lists in Java. So to start, an array is basically a way that you can organize your data in Java. There are multiple types of arrays in Java, but the two big types of arrays are static arrays and dynamic arrays. In today's video, we'll be talking about just dynamic arrays. And if you want to learn more about static arrays, there'll be a link in the description to that video. Now, right now, what I'm showing on my screen is a static array. Now, I'm going to talk about the differences between a static array and a dynamic array so that you guys can understand which one to use depending on the circumstance. So, the thing about the static array is that you have to declare how many elements will be in your list. However, in a dynamic array, you can just keep adding elements to the list and there won't be any stopping point. Like this 5 limits the amount of elements you can have in a list. Like you can only have 5 elements. However, in an array list or dynamic array, they're both interchangeably called, you can have basically an infinite amount of names or items in the list. Also, one thing to note is that a dynamic array is an array that can be altered during program execution, and you can add things to it, so it's not just a fixed amount. Now, to demonstrate this, let me explain how to create a dynamic array or an array list. So, first of all, one thing you should know is that you need to have the import array list library. So, when you create an array list, please have that import. If not, it will give you a bunch of errors. And first of all, let's just call it array list because we are creating a dynamic array, also known as an array list. And let's create a string. A string, and then let's call it people equals new array list string, and then open and close parentheses and a semicolon. Basically, what I did here was I have an array. I created an array list with strings. So this is my primitive data type, and the array list is called people. And then I set that equal to basically new array list string and then an open parentheses. So then I can begin adding stuff to that list of strings. So now, simple enough to add elements into this list called people. All we have to do is people dot add and then semicolon at the end and parentheses right here. And inside the parentheses, you can let's put a name. Let's put Tom. Now I can add like a bunch of Toms, right? Now let me change up the name so it'll make more sense when I explain more stuff. Yeah, that's good. Alright, so now you'll obviously be wondering, how do I print this out? So basically I have to do a system print line, system.out.print, ln, and then we have to print out the array list. So let's print out people. Now when I print this out, see it prints out Tom, John, Joe, and Mike. And this is basically how you create an array list. Basically you have this statement here, and inside these like sort of outward brackets or however you want to call them, you keep a primitive data type, whether it's a double, boolean, string, integer, and then you just add a bunch of those elements to the list by just doing the name of the array list dot add, and then you put whatever you want inside the parentheses and have a semicolon. And if you want to print out this array list, you just have a system.out.println statement or .print statement, and then you just put the name of the array list. Now, there's several methods involving array lists, so let me go over them really quickly. There's also one called people.size or .size. So you'll have a system.out.println statement, and inside this statement, you want to have a people.size, and you want to have a 2 parentheses right there. See? And what this will do is it will get the size of the array. So what you should do is, I'll run this, and it should give you 4. Right here, 4. because there's currently 4 elements in this list. If you add more before this, then this will be altered. However, if you add a person after this, people.add Jack, let's give that as a name, and if you run this, it should still print out 4 because currently this is not being added to the list before the print statement. However, if I put this right here, I'll change this to John. Oh, nope, already used that. Bill. Alright. Now there should be 5 people. So that is pretty much how the .add function works and the .size. Alright. Not only that, but you can also remove people from this list. So let's just do people.remove. And then you have to do the index of the list. So let's just do index 1. So as you see, it removes John. So when I think of the remove function is currently you have an array, right? So let's assume this is your array, and inside the array it's Tom, John, Joe, Mike, and then Bill, right? And if you have the remove one, consider this as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I remove 1, it removes John. If I remove 2, it'll be Joe, Mike, and then, well, if I remove 2, it'd be Joe, 3 would be Mike, 4 would be Bill. So that's typically how that works. Let me comment this out so it doesn't give me any error. That's pretty much how the .remove function works. And I could just show this by doing system.out.println people. Oh, I need a semicolon. My apologies. And there you go. See how we printed out the list before and how we print out the list after and how it doesn't have John anymore? That's basically what happens with the .remove function. If you have any other questions, please put them in the comments below. Our next video, we'll be talking about traversing or printing out like large scale array lists. So if you're eager for that video, please stay tuned. Once again, any questions, please put them in the comments. Lastly, please like and subscribe, and I hope you guys have a really good day.